Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. We've got a great show for you, a great cast of characters as well. Among them, these, a man who almost fell victim to an online scam, but instead of getting angry, he started a friendship with the would-be scammer. Also, an organ player bringing her music to the masses on TikTok. And an artist who uses a unique medium in his work, something we all have access to, at least on some days. Want to take a guess? We'll explain. And go behind the scenes of a once top-secret training program for what is probably one of the most unique summer jobs available anywhere. All of that and even more, I promise. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel, and this is The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, you and me as well. And we're going to begin with a man who was the target of an online scam, but instead of getting angry, he went out and got a friend. Here's Steve Hartman.
From a desperate place across the Atlantic, a suspicious message went out. My name is Joel from Liberia, West Africa. I need some assistance from you, business or financial assistance that will help empower me. And 6,000 miles away, a stranger answered.
I just wanted to go down this rabbit hole and see what were the tricks that they used to get people.
You were wrong about him.
So I took him for a scammer, but he showed me that there was a different side to him.
As we first reported in 2018, Ben Taylor of Ogden, Utah befriended the stranger and helped him help himself. He worked with Joel to make a little booklet about his life.
And I sold it online to whoever was interested in the story or whoever was just interested in helping a guy out.
And from those sales, Joel was able to earn hundreds of dollars.
Is this your home?
Oh yeah, this is my home.
Ben even visited to see the results of their partnership firsthand.
Brand new roof.
That looks good, man.
Yeah.
As you might expect, after that story first aired, lots of people tried to seize on Ben's kindness. His spam folder blew up with supposedly desperate pleas. Like the woman in Cameroon who said she needed money for reconstructive plastic surgery. The same letter had been circulating on the internet for years. It was even posted on a scam reporting website.
But I read into her story and it felt like something that I couldn't ignore.
So you believe somebody again?
I did a lot of work to kind of get to the bottom of it.
Turns out the story is true. Chica Ordery had a botched surgery as a child that left her with intermittent but excruciating pain.
Hi, Chica Ordery.
So, a couple months ago,
It's me, Mr. Ben.
Ben did as he'd done before.
How are you?
Flew to see the woman so many others had written off as a scammer, and showed her the book
This is the book
that would pay for her operation.
that you wrote.
It's just a lot of fun to see people kind of be the hero of their own story. Hi, Chica Ordery. You look like someone who just got out of surgery.
Thanks to you, Mr. Ben.
Twice now, Ben Taylor has gone halfway around the world to help a stranger and inspire you. Not to go answer your spam mail, just open your mind to the possibility that some people may be better than you think.
Nothing better than a Steve Hartman story. We're going to try our best to top it, though, or at least follow it. We now take you to London's famed Royal Albert Hall, where an organ player is winning over new fans on TikTok. Here's Ian Lee.
There's magic after midnight at the Royal Albert Hall. In its vastness of empty seats sits a solitary figure, commanding the hall's great organ.
It's like this hidden world that people don't even sort of know exist while they're asleep in bed.
Anna Lapwood harnesses the power of the instrument, made up of 9,999 pipes. She's practicing in these dark hours, the only time the hall's not booked. And while it appears empty, the world is watching on social media. Lapwood's phone capturing each moment.
I have just finished my practice session at the Royal Albert Hall.
What do you love about the organ?
Oh my gosh. It's the only instrument where you're playing a building. The whole building resonates with the organ. it shakes the foundations.
But before Anna took off on social media, she became the youngest ever director of music at Pembroke College in Cambridge. Her students turned this midnight maestro onto TikTok.
How did you become so viral?
It happened totally organically with this collaboration with Bonobo that happened a couple of months into the residency.
British musician Bonobo heard her play and a collaboration was born, electrifying fans and the music world.
I feel like it's blown my musical world so wide open. I was suddenly there with 5,000 screaming fans, screaming for the organ, which I've never had before.
What did you feel in that moment?
Oh my gosh, it was like ecstasy. I couldn't stop smiling. And even now I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
And a Lapwood on the organ makes some noise.
Even Andrew Lloyd Webber took note.
It is 5:30 in the morning. I'm in the Albert Hall with one cleaner, and I'm about to scare the living daylight out of them by playing Phantom of the Opera as loud as I can.
So classical can be cool.
It can be cool, and it is cool.
It is cool.
Breathing new life and some coolness through these classic pipes.
Coming up, she wanted to help her community by starting a nonprofit, but when that hit a snag, the community ended up helping her. Plus, a town in Minnesota that uses what now to draw in new visitors? We'll tell you after the break. We want to introduce you now to a woman who wanted to help her community by creating a nonprofit, but that nonprofit hit a roadblock until her community actually ended up helping her. Here's CBS Detroit's Ray Strickland.
I look at Hey Y'all Detroit as like my love letter to Detroit.
Charmaine Neal started her nonprofit, Hey Y'all Detroit, during the pandemic.
It was put on my heart to start a nonprofit for a disenfranchised community.
The focus was to bring resources to what she calls forgotten communities. A part of her work is a program called Hey Y'all, Let's Read.
I realized that a lot of children were falling behind.
But last fall, she nearly gave up on giving back after her truck that was full of books and school supplies was stolen.
I wanted to give up last year and I wanted to give up this year.
We were like, we're gonna fix this wrong. We didn't make the wrong, but like we sure as hell are going to fix it.
Angie Saranian and Taylor Tomlinson are among a group of students at Schoolcraft College in Livonia who heard about what happened and decided to step up and help. The students are a part of a children's literature course, and through the service learning component, the students began collecting book after book, reaching out to anyone they can.
We had no idea how big it was going to be until we had piles of books in the office.
They ended up collecting over 1,000 books. Some of them were given to students recently, and Neal says a conversation with a little girl at one of her reading events tells you the impact these books can have.
Reading books, that was my way of escaping, the reality that was going around and not so many words. She let me know that having a book was her way of escaping as well. And so this impact is so great.
What the students did for Neal has her blown away. She fought back tears just talking about it and the impact she believes it will have on the kids.
But, God has a funny way of showing you your purpose, even in the midst of this trouble that, we've been in. There have been blessings upon blessings upon blessings, and I can't wait for that impact to affect all of our kiddos.
And Hey Y'all Detroit can never have too many books, so if you would like to help and donate, you can visit their social media pages at Hey Y'all Detroit. We also have information on their website at cbsnewsdetroit.com. Reporting in Livonia, Ray Strickland, CBS News Detroit.
I love that. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. All right, we are going to go now to a small Minnesota town that found a unique way to draw in visitors. CBS Minnesota's John Lordson has the story.
Martin County is pork capital of the state.
It's a sense of pride 10 miles from the Iowa border. And if you don't believe in the power of pigs, Just take a stroll through downtown Fairmont.
What do we have up here? This is a pork in the road, not a fork in the road.
I like that.
A pork in the road.
Now, don't be surprised. We're going to use that.
Businessman Jeff Rouse is used to bad pork puns. He's one of the people behind this pig invasion.
Garbo, that's my pig, was the first one in the county.
As in famous actress Greta Garbo. About a year and a half ago, Jeff and others got the idea to put 400-pound concrete pigs in front of businesses as a way to promote the stores, the pork industry, and local artists.
We knew from the beginning this would be popular and people would like it. However, when we started seeing the artwork that was done on these hogs, they took it to another level.
20 Martin County artists painted the swine to represent the businesses they stand in front of.
It turned out pretty good, actually. It's whoever painted it did an amazing job.
Noe Juarez runs El Agave Mexican restaurant.
And your pig's name is Chuleta?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's pork chop in Spanish.
Half a block away from Noe's restaurant is the Opera House.
Our pig's name is Nicholas. For a long time, the Fairmont Opera House was known as the Nicholas Theater.
Their pig is decorated in performing arts and has a Phantom of the Opera mask.
For us, it's kind of a mascot.
And every few months, new pigs are born.
David Hasselhog is one of 20 pigs in downtown Fairmont, and one of more than 70 pigs now on display in Martin County.
We had no idea that it would grow into what it is today.
I like this one.
I feel like it adds something different to see and look at.
The only disappointment is that these will never turn into bacon.
People are taking road trips to Martin County to take the tour of the pigs. The county is going hog wild. It's like incredible.
Okay, coming up, meet an artist who doesn't use paint, doesn't use clay, but a material we all have access to on most days, weather permitting. We introduce you now to an artist who doesn't use paint, doesn't use canvas, but uses a material we can all see, we can feel it as well. Want to take a guess? Going once, going twice? Andrew Laub has our story.
Some artists use paintbrushes and canvas, others clay in a kiln. Michael Papadakis uses a magnifying glass, a mirror, and the sun. Harnessing the sun's powerful rays with mirrors and lenses, he tells his stories on wood, paper, or even stone. It's called heliography, which is art created by the sun.
Helios means sun and graphy means to write. And so I look at what I do as more of a form of storytelling, and the sun is the protagonist. You know, the sun is the author of the story that I'm trying to tell.
Papadakis says that no matter where he went, the sun always seemed to follow him. While on a backpacking trip in Central Asia, he says the sun told him something.
It was the sun trying to basically tell me, hey, I'm a source of inspiration and creativity, and you could use me.
Papadakis has made the most of his time in the sun. He's created artwork for Anheuser-Busch, 20th Century Fox, and GoPro, and has received 50 million views and counting on social media. But he says he's most proud of inspiring people to have newfound relationships with the sun.
No matter how much turmoil your life may go through on a regular basis, that you could always look towards the sun for grounding. I've had so many people over the years tell me that you've changed the way that I view the sun. When I walk outside, I feel something different when the sunlight hits me.
With so much uncertainty in our lives, Papadakis says the sun brings comfort and consistency.
I can feel the sun. Not only can I see it, but nobody can deny that they can't also feel the sun. And that's the difference between the sun and maybe many other things in our life, that if we ask the whole world, like, hey, can you feel the sun? They're going to all say, yeah, I can feel it. And so that's a very powerful thing.
Wow, that's very cool. Clever as well. Coming up, Chris Van Cleve, okay, some puns are coming, grills the college grads who get to relish what is frankly one of the most unusual summer jobs out there. It really is. CBS News recently went behind the scenes of a top-secret training program that prepares a group of 20-somethings for a unique role behind the wheel of an iconic vehicle that you cannot miss when you see it rolling down the highway. Chris Van Cleve takes us inside the Wienermobile.
Take a moment, realize what's occurring.
Yeah.
This is an iconic moment. You're about to drive the Frankmobile.
Yeah.
So let's go. It's happening.
This is the very first time Sam DeLotte has been given the keys to his new company car. But it's not just any car. It's an American icon.
Look good on the turn.
A computer science major from Purdue, he's one of 12 recent college grads who will spend the next year crisscrossing the country as Frankfurters, the lucky dogs behind the wheel of the Oscar Mayer Frankmobile.
When I say this is a dream come true, I mean it. Like, holy cow.
They beat out about 2,000 other applicants to drive a 14,000-pound, 11-foot tall, 27-foot long hot dog. That's the equivalent of laying out 60 hot dogs end to end, stacked 24 francs high.
How is this thing to drive? So yeah, I've never driven anything like the Frankmobile. I kept catching myself looking, trying to see the rearview mirror, and there's nothing there. So it was definitely a learning curve there. Felt great.
There are actually 8 Frankmobiles in existence. 6 are on the nation's roads at any one time. In teams of 2, these Frankfurters will steer them to about 1,200 appearances.
Do you eat a lot of hot dogs? I do. Frankly, I think they're delicious. I'm a huge fan.
But first, the 8 women and 4 guys have to complete this driving course of careful maneuvering without hitting any cones. The course simulates things like getting gas, turning around, and of course, parking.
Perfect.
The idea is to let the new drivers get into a pickle here and not in the real world.
You're going to be going around in circles.
It's up to Sue Williams and her team of former Madison, Wisconsin police officers to catch up these 20-somethings with the rules of the road, because no one wants a bruised bun.
Teaching somebody how to maneuver a very long vehicle, a very wide vehicle, is always challenging because it's something that they've never done. How about backing up left?
The key, she says, is teamwork.
Stop.
And careful attention.
Close the gap. Always follow all traffic laws.
So there's no hot dogging in the hot dog.
You're on your A game, you're polite, you're professional.
This is literally so crazy. What is my life?
Binghamton University grad Chloe Van Cassel aced it.
It was perfect. What made you want to drive this across the country?
Adventure and the missions. This is the furthest west I've ever been in my entire life, so it'll be really cool to see the rest of the country and to spread smiles along the way.
This iconic rolling piece of meat is probably better known as the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, the name it bore since it was cooked up by Oscar Mayer's nephew Carl, first hitting the streets of Chicago in 1936.
It was new and revolutionary in the marketing industry. People loved it. All right, buddy.
Ed Rowland has been the Wienermobile's top dog for the last 20 years.
After the Great Depression, when people really needed a little bit of joy and a little bit of a smile in their life, he thought this would be a great way to get out there and spark smiles.
Rumor has it the original Wienermobile was recycled for its metal to help the war effort in the early 1940s. The oldest surviving Wienermobile dates to 1952 and is currently on display at the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit. But for decades, this jumbo dog ended up on the back burner.
It's O-S-C-A-R.
To the company's catchy TV jingles.
Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Until the late 1980s, when the Wienermobile came racing back.
It was cooler than a GTO, faster than a Stingray, and it tasted great with mustard. It was the Wienermobile.
And since 1988, these big dogs have been rolling through all 50 states year-round.
How key to the Oscar Mayer product is the Wienermobile?
Oh, it's very integral. It was relevant and amazing in '88, and it is today. It is a social media darling.
So why mess with a social media darling and change the name this year? Oscar Mayer's Beef Franks got a new recipe, and they needed promoting.
Is there a difference between a wiener and a frank?
Actually, there is. A wiener has a blended meat, so it's more than one kind of meat in the hot dog, and a frank has a single meat.
And the Wienermobile got a new name, at least for now.
We're testing it out this summer. We've given the wieners a love for a long time. Now we're trying to give our beef franks some love.
So it may not stay the Frankmobile for decades to come.
Well, we'll have to see if it cuts the mustard.
Let me relish that joke for a moment.
Okay.
Kat Abraham is wrapping up her year behind the wheel.
Let's do it. Toll some buns.
Logging nearly 40,000 miles across 28 states.
I did not have a car prior to this job.
And
Wait. This is your first car?
This was my first car.
One of her last Frankmobile assignments, letting us ride shotgun. That's their term, not mine. The Frankmobile holds up to 6, but does not have a kitchen. Its carpet resembles condiments, and its roof is painted like a blue sky. There's a bun-shaped glove box. You guessed it, the bun box. And the seat belts, those are meat belts.
More people have been to space than have driven the Frankmobile. And not too many people get to ride along in it either.
So what is it like to drive this thing?
At first, it's a bit intimidating, but once you get behind the wheel and you get out and you see people's reactions on the road, you realize what an honor it is. Our whole job, really and truly, the mission is to make people smile every day.
I like to tell the hot doggers every single day they're making new I Remember Whens, because that's really what it's about. It's those memories, those connections with the people and our fans.
And to be frank, just about anywhere they go, heads turn and the fans come, cameras in hand, to get a shot of this barbecutie making one of those moments.
Cheesy weenie!
Chloe Van Cassel can't wait to be up in its grill for real.
Made me a little emotional, to be honest, to be getting my buns in that seat, buckling the meat belt, and starting to hit the road. So it's a dream come true.
You could say their primary job now is to hang out with their grill friends. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Chris Van Cleve in Madison, Wisconsin.
You could say that. You could say a lot of things. It made me smile. Chris Van Cleve, thank you very much. That is our show. I hope it brightened your day. I hope it lifted you up. I'm confident it did. If for some reason it didn't, reruns, they remain free. Meantime, I'm going to go find some good news. Where's that Wienermobile?